Hi, we're back. This is the GameSpot bonus stage on day 3 of E3. There's a bit of a delay there, sorry about that. I'm your host, John Davison. With me, Mr. David Jaffe. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Are you here peddling anything?
Well, you know, I'm here doing a lot of meetings for something I will be peddling soon.
Yeah.
A lot of my meetings are sort of building a team.
Yeah.
We're building a team in San Diego. I'm trying to think what I can say. Yeah, we're building a team in San Diego. The high concept is we're doing free-to-play third-person shooter browser.
Yeah.
I don't like free-to-play. Okay, so
You don't?
I don't, but I love aspects of it. Right?
Okay.
So the whole theory is you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, we want to be Zynga for gamers," or "We want to do free-to-play for gamers."
Yeah.
And you know, I applaud that. I thought Tribes was cool. I actually enjoyed Tribes, but ultimately, they're talking. It seems more about the theme of the game or the mechanics of the game, but the business model. I still feel, for me, and you know, whenever you start a company, you know, you're taking a risk on sort of what your theory is, and I don't know if it's going to resonate with gamers or not. But my theory is that a lot of the gamer-based free-to-play is still, as much as you want to couch it, it kind of feels like pay to win. I hate to say it, but it kind of does.
Yeah.
And so we have some theories and some ideas on how we can create a company that builds games that are taking the best parts of free-to-play, which is browser, it's always on, tons of people playing, easy accessibility from a lot of different devices, still shooter, right? So if it is keyboard and mouse or controller, people say do it on iPhone, we'd love to, but until we can figure out how to do a great shooter, we don't want to do it. We want to take the best parts and tweak the business model enough so that if a gamer comes in and plays, they feel like, you know, I'm respected, you know, and the game matters first. And if we get money off of it, it's because they want to pay us. Like they feel like, man, you treated us well as customers. You know, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll pay you, right? So that's the theory. We're building a team in San Diego based around that theory, and I'm here meeting a lot of potential members of that team, getting to know people. You know, we still have slots. Anybody watching? If you sounds interesting, shoot me a tweet. Let's talk. And then obviously, you know, meeting, you know, with possible funding and things like that for that game and parts of that game, and just meeting friends and colleagues. And so I'm not really here with make this game. It's more about, you know, building, you know, the kind of planting all the seeds so that eventually in a year or two we can come back and say this is what we are peddling now.
Sounds like a more fun E3 than having to do back-to-back demos, right?
Well, that's hard. That's no, yes and no. It's a different E3, right? So the back-to-back demos, only a fool would complain because you're basically, especially if you were as fortunate as I was when I worked at Sony and when I worked for Sony when they were our publisher, we always got to make stuff we love. So, you know, it's the equivalent of when you show me pictures of your kids. It's like, well, fuck, I'm in love with this game. The team's in love with this game. I want to talk about it, right? But it is different because this is the first E3 in 2 years that I haven't felt compelled to keep going back to the Twisted Metal booth and what do they think, what's working, what sucks, and that's been great. So I've gotten to experience the show for the first time in a few years as just a gamer and as a fan, and I've loved it. I've had a great time.
What have you seen that you like?
A lot. My favorite pure game is a real small thing. Sega has a game called Hell Yeah.
So I saw the logo.
Yeah.
And no, I haven't spoken to anyone that's played it yet.
Yeah, I played it.
So what is it?
Okay, so I loved Rayman too. Rayman Origins was one of my favorite games a couple years ago or last year. And if you look at Rayman thematically and say, I mean, Rayman was always competing with Mario. It's not like it's a new thing, but I always looked at Rayman sort of in the same mental space as Mario. It's benign, it's cute. This is more like sort of Earthworm Jim on crack. It's got that mentality and that art style. So I love the world, but if it was just that, it's like big fucking deal. Lollipop Chainsaw has a great character, a great world. The game doesn't match the ambition and the vision of the world and the character. It's still really good, but this is great because it has a great world and theme and IP, and on top of it, the gameplay is just, you know, it's sublime. Sega's publishing it. I didn't know about this. I guess the guy, I don't think it's Yuji Naka, but it could be.
Right.
But I guess the guy who's running Sonic Team, maybe it is him, they were telling me that he came in and worked with a developer to get the jump just right.
Yeah.
Usually it shows like that. That's just fucking PR spin. When you jump with this thing and you feel that it feels good to jump. It feels good to dig. So it's just a great feeling game that just speaks to the essence of why games as core mechanic pieces are great. But on the flip side, Ubisoft's booth was fantastic because
they're having an amazing show.
They are, and you know what I love about their, I mean, every booth here for the most part has this. So I'm not saying they're the only ones that have been able to take great technology and art and merge it with just great creativity and spirit and stuff. But every game at the booth does that. At Sony, in Microsoft, 3 or 4 here, 6 or 5, every fucking one. And I'm like, what do they have in the water there? I don't know. I'm serious. I mean, I know it's, but it was just like, wow, it's like Assassin's Creed. It doesn't just look good, it's really creative. Far Cry 3, they showed me a lot of the open gameplay in ways that you could, I felt like back in the day of GoldenEye, you know, it's like, wow, but next gen. I love the zombie thing. The Rayman on the Wii U is great. What's the Splinter Cell? I know a lot of the stealth guys are bitching that it's not like the old school. I like Conviction.
Assassin's Creed about it, there's that sort of fluidity to it that's very...
Yeah, I know, I get that. And I was on the Giant Bomb cast and they were kind of talking about that too, like it was a complaint, kind of, and I get that, but
there was some drama to it though.
I loved it. So I loved their stuff. Obviously, I thought Halo 4 was great. Last of Us, I haven't seen played, but what I saw was great. Obviously, I can't really speak to stuff that I had, like God of War, I didn't work on, but I'm too close to that. So for me, I think it's it's God of War. I love it. I'll love it always. So I think it's great, but I talked to Whitney Wade, who's producing it. She says, "Do you want to play?" I said, "I don't, because I want to play when I get it and sit down and So, but yeah, every it's just been fun. There's been some shit. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Jaffe's just saying. There have been some things that I've been like, why is that on the floor? It's like, but on the whole, I think probably it's because it's so late in the cycle that all the teams really have a handle on the technology and stuff, and now they're able to, this is cliche, but it's true, they can express it.
The quality of what they can do with graphics now, when you compare it to what we were talking about 5 years ago, it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's pretty crazy. But what's still interesting is, and this is important. I mean, this is game theory and shit. But it's like, so I just was vomiting love for the Ubisoft booth. So I love their shit. But what's fascinating is I'm in the Ubisoft booth and I'm loving all of my game experiences. But the minute that Assassin's Creed 3 trailer comes on, and the game's nothing like the trailer. Okay, it's not. I mean, the setting is and all that. But you watch the trailer and you play the game. They're both wonderful. But it's not like I played the game and it feels like the trailer.
Yeah.
But the trailer was so amazing, so well put together, and so well written and edited that it's still amazing to me that everybody just stopped and looked up at this thing. And it's just like, I don't know, it just got my gamer brain thinking about not going, let's make games more like movies, because I don't think that's a good idea. But it's just interesting, right? It's just interesting how, to me anyway, how even with all the great graphics we have and great gameplay and stuff, that still linear cinematic storytelling, just as humans,
still just draws people in, right?
Draws you in.
Yeah.
And you're able to control these fucking things. You're living these games, and still, that said, I'm not complaining, it's just interesting. And I don't know what that means from a design standpoint. Does it mean we try to make the games more cinematic, or do we kind of say you can't compete because the minute you give someone control, it breaks down, so maybe try to compete. I don't know. I'm rambling, but it gets me interested.
But I think there's a lot of people struggling here with that, I think. But I think the other thing that we're seeing a lot, and a lot of people have commented on, is when they see the Wii U, how their attitude to what the word social means is so different from everybody else. So
you mean Nintendo's view? Or
Nintendo's view is that social means this. The two of us sitting together with a screen in front of us and doing something where we're physically together, and everybody else is just, you connect online and we're friends and we share stuff.
Okay.
And have you seen this stuff? There's a few games where not only are you sitting together, but we'll each have something very different to do, even physically.
Yeah.
And there's something inherently collaborative about that. If I'm doing something on the touchscreen and you're doing something with the controller, and the bond is much greater.
There's a lot of companies talking about that, and there's actually, it's not the game we're doing with free to play, but when I was trying to figure out what we want to do once Twisted was done, besides fucking fix it, I know. I can see the comments, we'll fucking fix the online, mother. That's what you should fucking do. I don't program, I don't fix that shit. I just bitch about it, and the team's super talented, but I wish 100% we had connections, but that's a different interview. Anyway, point being, I just wanted to beat the commenters to it before I got to it. But yeah, no, I mean, when I was kind of kicking around and we're talking to people about what we wanted to make, it was very much about, there was an idea there about that collaboration but doing different things. So I definitely think that's kind of, it's definitely interesting. Now that said, I haven't necessarily seen anything at the show or played anything that I've said, that I haven't walked away from and said, that's interesting, because a lot of games you can say that's interesting and you appreciate how innovative it is, but it's still not the most fun thing that you want to be playing. And so have you seen anything that kind of fits that bill, but it's also fun and not just interesting?
Legends, I think, does some stuff with the Wii U controller. Yeah.
I was watching someone play it. I didn't see, but it wasn't collaborative.
The co-op, the co-op gameplay, the second player does some stuff on the screen that
what are they doing?
You can affect the stuff in the environment. You can affect. So there's things where you can like move things on the screen, so the other person does
that's
stuff.
Really neat. Okay, yeah.
So it's really clever, and like, I mean, the one can play. So have you had a chance to play much Wii U stuff?
Not really. I played the tank game, the tank game.
Yeah.
I saw some Mario stuff, but it's the booth there is usually so swamped that I'm just kind of like, I like to I watch it, but I haven't sat and played with it more than a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, there's chief complaint on Pikmin 3 is that you don't really need to look at that screen. And then the chief complaint on some other things is there's something difficult about going from this to the screen and back again, and like.
Well, that's like the AirPlay thing. Like at first when I heard what Apple was, I can play Angry Birds with my kids on my iPhone, my iPad, and it's on the TV. But we're all just still doing this.
Yeah.
Because that's where the game is. So it sounds like what you're saying with Rayman's pretty cool because one guy's designed to look here.
Right. I think if you have to be sort of completely sucked into that experience, then it works.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So I want to talk to you a bit more about the free-to-play stuff because today we've had a lot of people on the stage talking about free-to-play. And so we had John Smedley from SOE was on.
I saw they had Bullet Run, right?
Yeah.
Which I mean, again, I don't know. I get the sense their business model for Bullet Run is kind of the same one that I don't like, which is basically pay to win. I could be wrong, but I got that sense from it. But I did enjoy it. It was a fun game on display here.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about. I'll talk your ear off about fucking free to play. I love that world because I think there's so much potential to reach more gamers and entertain more people. But I also think there's a lot of fun challenges.
So you said that you didn't think many people were doing it right. Is there anyone doing it right? So we had Victor Kisley from wargaming.net on earlier on, who's convinced that he's doing it right because he sort of steadfastly not the pay to win button. It's all about enjoying the experience.
Okay, well listen, my disclaimer is I've played very little World of Tanks.
Right.
Okay, and they're making crazy shit tons of money. Maybe they're doing it right. I will tell you that their model isn't my model and our model. Here's where it is for me. I did have an interesting conversation with some industry folks today about World of Tanks, and it's so fascinating that I said to them, if I were to come to you, because they were a publisher, I said, if I were to come to you with a $60 retail tank game, you would have said, hopefully you would have been nice to me, but basically said, no way.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't sell. It's amazing that game is doing so incredibly well, and it's a game that the retail space would have just adored.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, here's my thing, is, and we're doing a character-based shooter, okay? So I come of it from the mind that if you strip away set pieces and bleeding edge graphics and spectacle, there's only been improvements, but there hasn't been a big innovation in the shooter in a while. The last big great innovation, and I like it, is what Infinity Ward did with their persistence and their RPG and all that. Well, the free-to-play model that I've experienced so far, and I haven't done a lot of World of Tanks, really fucks that up, right? Because if you imagine, and I think I talked to your other guys at Giant Bomb about this, I may not have gotten into this much detail though, but if you imagine it like breadcrumbs or a morphine drip, which is what that is. Now obviously you want to hope the stuff you're unlocking doesn't mess up the balance and that the game underneath it is great, because my theory is you need to be able to rip a business model out and still have a great game experience, right? And a lot of shooters, if you rip out that morphine drip, the game that you're left with is wonderfully executed, but it's not that unique from something you might have been playing 5 years ago. It's still about keeping that target on the enemy and hitting the trigger. Well, the free-to-play model really fucks up that morphine drip. I think the game's got to be better. It's got to evolve the shooter. But above that, the meta game, the thing you hear these guys say a lot is, you pay with your time or pay with your money. But I think that's absurd. The idea of basically saying paying with your time means you're getting a shitty experience because those breadcrumbs get spread out hours apart. So that very calculated, wonderful formula of every X minutes, 20 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, depending on the player, I get something to motivate me to keep going. Now, ideally, again, the game should be enough, but we know it's not always enough. And so at least that's motivating you. I want to get this next cool weapon. I want to get this next cool ability. Suddenly you're paying with your time. that's gone. And all you're left with is the game under the hood, and that better be fucking good or innovative, or you don't have that morphine drip as a safety net. And if you pay to put those breadcrumbs really close together, you might have a nice little moment of like, oh cool, I got this, this, and this, and then you're either gonna have to pay more to keep getting that fix, or you're right back on that treadmill of 6 hours, and you've also disrupted the fun 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and suddenly you get it all, and it's almost like opening all your Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, and you're like, you're done. And Christmas morning isn't as exciting. Says the agnostic Jew from Alabama. What the fuck do I know about Christmas? But that's the gist, right? So yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, we all may be bowing down to World of Tanks and say, hey, you guys cracked the nut. I haven't played it enough to know. I've played a little bit, and I definitely want to play more, but I understand what the model is, and it's still not satisfying me. And again, like I said, when you start a company, ideally you have a vision that you and the team are really, they believe in, and that you believe in. And so we can be just crazy wrong. But, you know, we want to give it a shot, because I think I love games, and I love what free-to-play can do, and if we can actually start exposing more people to games, and not just like Farmville games, which are fine, but action games that we love, you know, I'm all over that. So I'm a big fan, man.
Tribes earlier, do you think they're doing stuff right, or?
Well, I stopped playing it. I mean, let's separate two things. Tribes, as a piece of executing game, is great. I love the skiing. I love the jetpacking. It's fun. It's a little. You know, one of the biggest problems multiplayer shooters have that we're going to try to address, we may not get this, I feel, is that you kind of, you know, and it takes a long time for you to stop feeling like an extra in your own action movie.
Yeah.
So Tribes, especially for me, had that problem, which it took for a long time for me, not just because I didn't have weapons, because it's kind of there's a learning curve on that game, and it's good. It's a good learning curve. It's nice to be able to lead enemies and stuff like that. But, you know, Tribes especially, though, it took a long time for me to actually feel like I was getting in a groove that I understood how to play. So the game, though, execution-wise, some fun ideas in there, nice feel. Separate that. That's great. Really, really cool. I didn't know the Kings were playing tonight. I guess if you've been over at the Marriott, it's like
a pro Call of Duty contest.
Oh, okay.
We
cool.
have an MLG stage over there.
Oh, I saw that. But but yeah. So you know, what was I talking about? Selling out shooters and free to play. You weren't even fucking listening. You were like, I gotta get bread at the store.
Completely threw us both. Other people, tribes, weapons.
Yeah. I don't fucking know. Who's fucking producing this show? Read the comments. What the fuck was that? What was I saying? It was good. I want to finish my thought.
It was about tribes.
Yeah. Oh, Tribes wonderfully executed. Yeah. So separate Tribes from the business model, and I think I mean it
still works.
What a great. Well, if they weren't making me wait a year to get a fucking upgrade. They're not. Yeah. I'm exaggerating, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
So I stopped playing it because I was like, you know what? And this is what's happening. As you're getting more and more free to play out there, people are there's more of a reason to disengage, because it's like, you know what? I've played it. I've gotten my demo. I've gotten my taste. I'm not sticking around to wait 6 hours, and I'm not ready to pay you yet. And they go to the next thing, right? And so the business model, I don't like with Tribes. They may be making money like crazy, but I don't like it. For me, I don't like it. And so maybe your viewers do, maybe you do. I know it's got great reviews, and I enjoyed it. It was a great quality product. But the business model for me made me go, I played it for 2 or 3 days, and now I'm done. And I haven't gone back to it.
Right.
But it's still great, so I'm not knocking the game. I think the business model hurts that game.
Cool. So when do you think you'll be starting to talk about when the studio's spinning up and everything?
Well, you know, honestly, so here's what we're doing. I love not working for a company right now, because Sony was always so great to me. I can pretty much say whatever I wanted, but you know, there are secrets that are not yours to reveal.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't say things. Now I can say whatever the fuck I want to say.
Excellent.
So what I'll tell you is, you know, the answer is it depends, right? So we've been meeting with a lot of great people that you know, the real criteria for us is we want to find a partner that says, look, we believe not just in your vision of free to play, but we have our own thoughts. But one thing that we all come to Jesus on is this idea of we want to make it for gamers. We want to make the business model appealing to gamers. So whether it's the ideas we have or they have or a hybrid, we just want to know that we're partnering with someone that's in it with us for the same vision.
Yeah.
So we've been meeting with a lot of people. publishers, VC people, whatnot, to kind of really go, do they like us? Do they like what we're about? Do we like what they're about? So that's part of it. But I'll tell you, so the answer to your question is, if we go that traditional route, it may be 18 months before you know. Probably we'll do a soft launch, or probably before, but it won't be close. But if we start, getting out there and finding that it's like, people are like, we like World of Tanks, we like Battlefield Heroes business model, we like Tribe's business model, we don't want to mess with it. I don't know, we might start looking at like crowdfunding and say maybe we can sort of get gamers, if they're on board with us, and say, we believe in what you're talking about. We want to try this with you.
Yeah.
We might go that route. So if we go that route, you'll know in 2 months.
Fantastic.
Because I'll be on the internet like Schaefer was. Although Schaefer, I was so lucky. I went to. Oh, you're okay on time?
Yeah.
I went to a party the night I got here at UTA, the agency, and so I'm about to leave because I was tired. And I was only there for 10 minutes, and on the way out, I bumped into Genova Chen from that game company. So we start talking, and we go sit down in the back, and then fucking Tim Schafer walks up, and then Ron Gilbert walks up, and I'm sitting there surrounded by these, and I'm there for 2 hours, right? I'm not moving. I loved it. It was so much fun, just to learn from these guys and hear their experiences. But, talking Kickstarter with him, Schaefer's, my curse and my what's the opposite of a curse? The good part.
Yeah, blessing.
Is that I'm more polarizing than Tim Schafer. Everybody, and they should. Tim Schafer's one of the nicest, not just personalities. Like if you're watching this and you're like, oh, his personality, just nice person.
Yeah.
Good guy. I'm a nice guy too. But they're the people who are like, oh, we love Jaffe, he's awesome. People think I'm a loudmouth jerk, right? And so I don't know if we could have the kind of success because I might be too polarizing. But end of the day, though, we definitely want to look at Kickstarter. And what's cool about it, whereas with Tim could just be Tim.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go out there, and the team's going to go out there, and it's like, look, I don't care if you know who I am. You should, if you want to put your money behind our Kickstarter, it doesn't matter. Don't invest in Jaffe. Don't invest if you happen to maybe like the games we've worked on, because that matters. But I want people to invest because we give them the pitch, and they're our VCs, right? And I want them to sort of go, I want to invest in this because I want to play it and I want to support this. So I don't know. It's a scary thing because you don't want to fail, and you don't want to fail so publicly. But at the same time, it may be that gamers are the only ones that get what we're saying, which is like, I know that's not true. Publishers would get it too, but they might be like, yeah, but we're already making so much money that we're fine with this. And I'm like, I want to make money, but I want to do it for me, for a gamer, for gamers. So we'll see. But you gotta let me come and talk about it if we do it.
Well, the second you're ready, you got to come on and talk about it, all right?
I would love to.
It's been awesome having you on. Thank you very much. Best of luck with the new venture.
Thank you so much.
We will be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Bit of a change up. We've got the guy IGN are right next door, so Tal and Casey from IGN are going to come on and talk. So.
Oh, you guys going to fight?
Maybe we'll fight. I don't think so. We love each other. And Tal, they both have such.
Who do you hate? Let me interview you for 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. I'll interview you.
Sure, you interview me.
Okay, so you like Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
You like GameSpot. You're GameSpot. You like IGN. Destructoid. You like Destructoid.
I do actually.
I do too. Okay. I don't know. Let's move on.
All right, who do I hate?
We want to know the dirt.
Oh Jesus.
Kotaku.
No, I'm getting
So who don't you like?
I don't think anyone's doing anything bad because I've been around for so long. I know everybody.
Is this the camera? He's been so used to developers spinning him for the years in his career that he just knows the right fucking thing to say. I like him too. There's no one I don't really like.
Yeah, I think everyone. I mean,
there are writers I don't like. There are fucking writers I can't stand. But as a entity, no. I think Polygon is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I think everyone's doing it. And I think what's happening right now is everyone is looking at a way to. The audience has changed in normal. We can't do what we were doing 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we're doing so much live video here is it's what people want. We work with Twitch. We invested in Twitch, so we're doing a lot of live video.
Twitch is Leo Laporte's thing?
No, it's Twitch is the spin-off of Justin TV. It's all gaming.
I thought Leo had
Twitch is Leo Laporte.
Okay, got it.
And live video is so important, and people are. So we were going through the metrics for this week and looking at time spent on video on GameSpot this week.
How many viewers are you getting on this show concurrently on average?
So this show we've done tens of thousands concurrently on stuff. Overall, when you measure the amount of time spent by GameSpot users watching our content during E3,
the live content,
and also the on-demand, but it's mostly live. We'll be measuring the time spent by the end of the week in centuries.
Okay, so the fact that you're not wearing gold shoes and gold blue jeans.
So by the first day, we'd served 57 years of video content.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
So I mean, just people are so into it. They're watching. They're so passionate about games. And one of the reasons we did this is because we're doing the product demos over there. So it's like 15-minute back-to-back talking about games.
Okay. I have to ask you. Okay, will you agree on camera after this? Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I gotta run something by you.
All right.
It's related to what we're talking about.
All right.
But you can never share it with anyone.
I will never share it with anyone.
Okay, so you're on camera. That's your fucking NDA right there.
All right.
But I want to know what you think.
All right.
Okay. So one more question about journalism.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What is the hardest question? Like, meaning, like, for the person on my side of the couch, like when you were seeing games this week.
Yeah.
That you asked? Like, did you push and probe, or was everything positive?
No. So one of the things I love the fact that you don't really have PR handling right now is I can ask you stuff.
Yeah.
So one of the most, and this is not bagging on them in any way, but one of the most frustrating periods where I really wanted to talk to Ray at BioWare during the Mass Effect 2 period.
Yeah.
About some of the sort of motivation stuff. No, don't tell me the story. I want to know why you're doing this. I want to know. And I think this is the most difficult question for a lot of people is, what are you trying to say?
With the choices in their games.
Yeah.
Call them on that shit.
Yeah, because no one...
I don't say have you?
We try, but very often when there's PR handling, they step in and like, well, that's not, on message.
Do you know why that's so important? You probably do, but I love that you, I wish, the fact that you have the question and you're not using it like a loaded fucking shotgun to make this industry better drives me nuts, because so much of it is hyperbolistic bullshit.
Yeah.
And I want to be an artist masturbation. And if you poke, and I was there, I did it with Twisted Metal Black.
Yeah.
I had the press eating out of my hands telling me I was making this dark, fuck that. I was ripping off David Fincher.
Right.
I didn't have an original. I mean, it was good. I liked Black. I was proud of it and proud of the team. I loved the gameplay. I think there's no vision. My vision was rip off David Fincher, ride on his coattails, and stand on his shoulders and get some of the glory.
Yeah.
If we actually started getting pushed back in the industry, then it would force us, if we're actually going to say, this is about war, this is about this, then if we can't deliver, then we're just going to be made to look like idiots, and we're either going to put up, or even maybe potentially better, start making our games to make... So we have an answer.
Why talking to indies is so interesting. Because you can ask, you can ask
but
that
I laid
question.
into it. I love this guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go.
But so we'll ask this stuff. But pushing back, we've started saying no because there's so much to talk about.
Right.
And it's interesting because you say no and you kind of walk away, and it doesn't happen immediately. But a little later, they'll be like, okay. We've talked about it.
Have an answer.
No, and they might not have an answer, but like, we don't want to talk about that, but how about this? And it is a way, because we've got to get out of that sort of very structured PR beat kind of thing, because if it's boring to my guys, it sure as hell is boring to everyone watching.
And even more important, like you're thinking, not you, but it's like a lot of people think about it short term.
Yeah.
They think about, oh, well, we do this because we need the advertising. It's like the industry, and I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but really, the industry is kind of in danger, at least certain kinds of games, if journalism does serve a purpose, and criticism serves a purpose, right? And it's like, if we started getting called on a bunch of our bullshit, I mean, if you ripped that out, I think the games would get better. And the industry
got to step up and prove something. And we love it and you love it.
I have no problem with it. I have no problem saying, guys, I don't know how to make, whether it's I'm not smart enough, maybe David Cage can do it. I don't know how to make a video game. I couldn't make a movie that has the emotional resonance of the artist, let alone fucking Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. So I certainly can't do it in a video game. So for me, I've gone, you know what? Here's what I do know how to do well and what makes me happy and what makes a lot of gamers, from what I can tell, happy. I know how to kind of focus on cool IP, gameplay, things like that, and I'm not going to feed you a lot of bullshit and say it's about the human condition. It's not, it's really not. It's just,
but the fact that you're comfortable saying that's the level of conversation that we need to be having in the media, where you can be honest.
And then maybe you will find people. I'm not saying games aren't capable.
And not every game is a work of art.
But maybe someone can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that get them up here and fucking find it. It's like American Idol, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
just find it.
Put it up. Yeah. So it's, I'm sorry. I just talk about this shit all day.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, the IGN guys will be up in a couple of minutes. This is the bonus stage at GameSpot on day 3 of E3. I'm John Davison. David Jaffe, thank you very much.